What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to be talking about another pen from Pen BBS, and that is this model right here. This is the 480 model. There's no name to it. It just is 480. It is more of a standard size, more of a standard design pen than, something like this, which is their double-ended pen. And I really liked that pen. So when I'd used that one, I thought, you know what, maybe I'll check this one out. This is a different design, obviously. This is more standard. It does have a standard international cartridge. It takes 8 years to unscrew the back of the pen because they've included a O-ring there that's very large, but it does mean that you could eyedropper convert the entire body, much like, if you had like an Edison pen or something like that. It does come with a standard international converter, but I like the fact that they do give you that O-ring installed already. It just means that it takes some effort to put it back on. So this pen here kind of actually reminds me of an Edison Nouveau Premier because it is sort of a cigar-shaped pen, but it comes to the 2 points at the end. Now, it's not as pointy and sharp as the Edison Nouveau Premier, but it definitely has that vibe. The clip on it is definitely interesting. It's sort of like, I don't want to say a coffin shape, but it does remind me of something like that. To me, I'd rather it not have it, to be honest, because it's pretty loose. Doesn't really seem like, much money was invested in that clip. But considering this pen was about, I think like $37 Canadian, so about $26 or $27 American, it's not too bad. There is a band around the end of the cap that just says Pen BBS Shanghai 480. So, nothing too fancy here. And then you get the multicolored acrylic. So, the acrylic is nice. I like the chatoyance of it. It is, again, similar to something like you would get with an Edison. My doorbell just went off. Hang tight. I will go get that. Okay, back from getting the door. Where did I leave off? Yeah, so the acrylic is really nice. You can tell it is definitely cheaper than something like an Edison. The material is much finer, much thinner. The finishes aren't quite as good as something like an Edison, but it's also much cheaper. So it's like a third of the cost. So there's definitely that. The grip section is pretty long, which I like. The threads are nice and shallow, and there's virtually no step. So your hands will definitely fit in there with no problem. It's a little bit narrow, the grip section, but I would say for most people, it's perfectly fine. Standard Pen BBS nib, from what I can tell. It's steel, fine. It writes more like a Western fine. It says Pen BBS since 2005. It's got an F for fine, and it says China. So, it's a standard pen, nothing too flashy about it. It does post pretty well. I don't like it posted because it puts, more weight in the back. Because it's a very light pen, it is more susceptible to being back weighted, which it is for me. But I mean, if you had like really big hands, you'd probably want to use it posted, but I don't. So there's nothing fancy about this pen, and that's kind of what I like about it. It's a standard pen. It writes really well, as you'll see in a minute. It looks decent. I like the look of it. It looks like a slightly more expensive pen, but it's your run-of-the-mill fountain pen. There's nothing about it that I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to try this. This pen is amazing. But there's also nothing where I'm like, this pen sucks. It's just, it's a nice pen. Doesn't blow you away. It doesn't make you mad. It's just a nice pen to write with. So after all that talk about writing, let's check out the writing sample. So this nib writes really, really well. You know, it's pretty darn consistent. It's pretty smooth. You do feel a little bit of feedback, in the sense that it's not really feedback like scratchy. It's not scratchy at all. You just feel a little bit of a drag, as you're pulling the pen across. That said, it's a relatively dry ink. This is, I believe, Diamine Espresso. Yeah. So it is a drier ink. My camera almost fell over. So that doesn't help. I'm sure if you had a wet ink in there, it would be much, much better. But you do feel a little bit of a drag. You do get a little bit of line variation, and reverse writing feels smooth, pretty similar actually on both sides how it feels. It's just obviously much, much drier. I would say this supposedly is a fine nib, steel nib, of course. But I would say this writes more like a Western fine, not a Japanese fine. But I'm pleased with it. I would like it to be a little bit wetter, but of course I will make that modification myself. But other than that, I would say it's pretty good. I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, I'm pleased. Like, I had kind of low expectations with it, but I'm really pleased. And you're about to have a guest walk past, I think. Yeah, here she comes. Parker wants to be involved. She's checking out my messy, messy desk. But yes, so guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for hitting that like button if you like it. Hit that subscribe if you really like it, but haven't yet done so already. Guys, thank you for hanging out, spending some time with me. And as always, I'll see you on, my Monday and Friday uploads. Have a good one. Bye.